Oops, there we go. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. It is sunny and cold in Nashville. It was cold out there this morning. It's about 47, maybe 45 degrees when I did my run. Anyway, this is the 14th day of April. This is the 74th episode of season 3 of the Be Your Own Hero show. HERO is an acronym. It means helping everyone reaps optimism. In other words, helping others helps you. It's a reciprocal action. I'm your host. I'm sekouwrites. I am a professional creative. I'm an author, journalist, playwright, jewelry maker. I do a bunch of different things. And I'm also the creator of the Hero Ministry movement, which is my effort to uplift and inspire people in general, and specifically the unhoused community. So join me here Monday through Friday, 9:45 a.m. Eastern, 8:45 a.m. Central, to talk about my journey of becoming my own financial hero. And if this show provides any value, please like, please comment, please share, and spread the word. Also, shout out to New Thought Media Network for allowing me this platform to be my own financial hero. Okay, just a quick reminder, I am not a personal trainer nor my financial advisor, so take what I say with a grain of salt. In other words, do your own due diligence. All right, so let's get started. So, first of all, let's talk about the run streak. Today is day 318. That means I've been running every day, at least a mile a day for now 318 days in a row. Morning, Linda. Thanks for checking in from Colorado. And I'm going to play today's run report, and then we're going to jump into the show. So this is from earlier today. In case you didn't get to see it on social media, we're going to play it here. And these pings are from Rev Melissa during my show. So we got to talk about that later. Anyway, here we go.
Street day 318. I've been running every day, at least a mile a day, for now 318 days in a row. That's called the run streak. My original goal was 30 days, 30 miles. I'm way over that now. I am over 935 miles. Yeah, over 935 miles, pushing up on 1,000. And yeah, it's been quite a journey. So, do I have a run story for today? Yeah, so I did 4 miles today instead of 3, but the reason I didn't do a 5K, I did 4 miles instead of a 5K, was because I got caught by a train. That's the first time I've been caught by a train while running. Now, those of you that live in Nashville, you know getting caught by a train is a real thing. It's a real thing. And I've been caught by a train many times in a car. But this was the first time I ran a different route, first of all. And I was like, oh, I think I know where I am. This is my first time ever running this route. I was like, oh, okay, I think I know where I am. I ran past, for those of you that know Nashville, I ran past the Starbucks on Charlotte. And then I was going to cut through the back streets behind Starbucks, right? But there was a train and all these cars stacked up. And in my early days of running, if this had happened, I would have just sat there and waited for the train because I would have been too worried about my ability to run a different way and not get tired. But today I just saw that there was a train and I immediately pivoted and went a different way, which added a mile to my route. But I wasn't worried about it because I knew that I could handle it. And so that physical confidence has grown with time. It's grown with time. Just the ability to be able to pivot, adapt to whatever's going on and know that, yeah, my body's got it. I got it. We'll be fine. And so that added a little bit more than a mile to my route. So 4 miles today, which puts me on track with the half marathon training group. They've been running 4 miles all week. Meanwhile, I've been running 3, but I've been running 3 on their rest days. So I think it all comes out in the wash. Anyway, that's my story. Check me out on my show, the Be Your Own Hero show. I was just checking the time. I have decided to call it a financial literacy show for artists and retirees. I decided that yesterday. So I'm going to talk about that today on the show. So check it out on Facebook and YouTube. You can check out any of the previous episodes on my YouTube channel, and all the links are in the bio. All right, I'll see you there later. Street.
Okay, so there we go. I should have got some footage of the train, but I didn't even think about it. I was just trying to figure out how to get around it. So it's always interesting for me to watch these run reports because, again, I've said this before, but I record them right after I finish running, and then I rarely remember what exactly I said. So the theme from this episode of the run story is the run report, is physical confidence. And I've mentioned that before, but you build physical confidence by continuing to do something over and over and over again. And then it gives you the ability to pivot, to riff, to improvise. And that can be applied to anything. So that's my tip from the run report today. Invest in your physical confidence by doing something repeatedly and watch your confidence grow. Okay, so moving on. Dice Roll Challenge. Dice Roll Challenge. It really feels like a game show now. Dice Roll Challenge. Dice Roll Challenge. Yeah, Margaretta, I'm not having any issues today. And you mentioned this before. Margaretta's saying in the chat that I'm freezing. Yeah, I wasn't freezing the other day. I asked a couple other people when you said that. And so I think maybe it might be your Wi-Fi connection. Try switching to a different Wi-Fi tower. All right. That said, Dice Roll Challenge. Game show time. Yesterday's number was 1. Easy day yesterday. So let's see what the number is today. And once again, while I'm shaking the dice up, the reason we're doing this is so that we always have money to invest. So that we always have money to invest. This is very important. So here we go. All right. Today's number is 5. Today's number is 5. Leave that right there as a reminder. Today's number is 5. Okay. You're going to transfer. If you're doing it electronically, you're going to transfer $5 from your checking account over into your investment account, and you're going to let it stack up to whatever predetermined amount you have, and then you're going to invest it. You want to invest it. If you're doing it with cash, you're going to take $5 out of your pool, I guess, and then set it aside in an envelope or jar, money jar, what have you. So yeah, that's the dice roll challenge of the day, $5, and let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. So that you always have money to invest. You're never caught without some money to be able to invest. Because you never know when you might want to invest. You should be investing all the time, but you never know when you might need some extra money. So $5, move the money. Let's move on to Morning Zen. So 2 things on Morning Zen. Number 1, as you know, if you've been watching the show, I've been reading, again, the 7-Day Mental Diet. And I'm not going to recap all the different things I've learned this time today, but I want to focus on the second of what Emmett Fox, the author, calls the 8 great lifesaver questions. Once again, he calls them the 8 great lifesaver questions. We already talked about 1. The first question is, am I smiling right now? Am I smiling right now? The second question is, am I breathing deeply right now? Am I breathing deeply right now? And so what he says about that is that you can reduce your stress by consciously breathing a little deeper. You can reduce your stress by consciously breathing a little deeper. And we know that, most of us know that, but we don't often do it. We don't always do it. So just a reminder, you can regulate, you can tweak the knobs and flip the levers of your stress by choosing to breathe more deeply. And as I mentioned before, many of these fundamental principles align with each other. Many of these thought leaders are saying the same thing in different ways. So I wanted to share with you something that Jay Shetty said. If you're not familiar with Jay Shetty, he was formerly a monk, and now he's a thought leader. He talks about what he learned in the monastery. He has a book out now called Think Like a Monk, which I'm reading from. I'm reading from the book Think Like a Monk. So here we go. I vividly remember my first day of monk school. I had just shaved my head, but I wasn't wearing robes yet, and I still looked like I was from London. I noticed a child monk who couldn't have been more than 10 years old, and he was teaching a group of 5-year-olds. He had a great aura about him, the poise and confidence of an adult. What are you doing? I asked. We just taught their first class ever, he said. And then he asked me, what did you learn in your first day of school? I started to learn the alphabet and numbers. What did they learn? the first thing we teach them is how to breathe. Why? I asked. The one constant through your life is breath. All your friends, your family, the country you live in, all of that can change. Breath is with you always. Right? Right? Oh, and there's more. Let me just finish reading this. Then this 10-year-old monk added, when you get stressed, what changes? Your breath. When you get angry, what changes? Your breath. We experience every emotion with the change of our breath. When you learn to navigate and manage your breath, you can navigate any situation in life. When you learn to navigate and manage your breath, you can navigate any situation in life. So manage your breath, and back to the 7-day mental diet, ask yourself, am I breathing right now? Especially if you're experiencing a moment of stress. Breath is life. Life is breath. Okay, also for Morning Zen, I was ambushed by a positive word on TikTok as I posted my run report. This came from Kevin Hart, and he was talking about the stock market. It was just a couple seconds of him discovering the stock market. And he was talking about, wait a minute now, I can put money in here and my money makes money. And there are aspects of the stock market that are less risky than other aspects of the stock market. So it was really cool to see him have that discovery. And obviously we're having that discovery here on the Be Your Own Hero show. So yes, this reminds me of something I've said before, that the stock market is one game, but there are a million different ways to play it. It's one game, but there are a million different ways to play it. And that's not the way I perceive the stock market from the outside looking in. But now that I'm in here, now that we're in here, there are a number of different ways to play it. So don't feel like you have to play it a certain way. You can play it in a way that works well for you. Okay, so moving on. That's a good segue to abundance. Good segue to abundance. Because I'm going to talk a little bit more about the stock market and playing the game in different ways. So let's get into our affirmation / incantation. We're going to read it twice. For the newbies, this is the first time we're reading it is to get the words, and the second time is the incantation. For the folks who are veterans, you need to be incanting this both times. All right, so first time, here we go. I am so happy and grateful to be a multi-millionaire in every area of my life. And one more time with even more feeling, I am so happy and grateful to be a multi-millionaire in every area of my life. The idea is to imbue it with feeling, and the feeling is what will get it into your system and invite your subconscious to believe it, and therefore outpicture it around you. Okay, so my reminder, as usual, if you only spend, you know this by now, you'll stay poor. If you only save, you'll stay middle class. If you want to become wealthy, you must invest. You must invest. It's not optional. Your money must make money. You've got to put your money to work for you. So that said, circling back to what I said in my run report, I said that I was going to start calling this show a financial literacy show for artists and retirees. And that's a funny combination, but it's not as divergent as you might think. So I'm an artist, obviously. And so I know a lot about how artists struggle, or I don't want to use that word struggle, but how artists have some trouble managing finances. Because speaking for myself, we often just want to be worried about the art. We don't want to be worried about the money. We want the money to take care of itself. The money is not going to take care of itself. Let's just start with that. The money is not going to take care of itself. We got to learn how to take care of the money, and then the money will take care of us and free us up to be artists. But there's similarities between artists and retirees because we got lots of time. We got lots of time, and time is our most precious resource. Time is the most precious resource, right? So artists and retirees both have lots of time that can be applied in different ways. So not only do we have lots of time, we also generally tend to have limited income, no job per se, and not very much awareness of what to do with money. So I feel like retirees and artists are my wheelhouse. Like I think speaking to that audience will do well for me. And the reason I got specific about it is I was watching Anthony O'Neill. You've heard me mention him recently here. I just discovered him. And I was talking about his bank account balance. And I was talking about the fact that he has $200,000 in checkings and savings, but $2.2 million invested. And so we talked about that quite a bit. The fact that he only has 10% of his wealth in checking and savings and 90% in investments, which underscores the point you must invest to become wealthy. So that said, I was watching some of his videos, and he's speaking to working class people, people who have jobs and have ready access to like 401ks and that kind of thing and paychecks. And none of it really applied to me. And so that made me be specific about, like, wait, who am I talking to? I'm talking to other artists, and I'm also talking to retirees because there are some similarities. So I'm going to rock with that for a while. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, that said, here is my story time. I've got a story time that relates to wealth, abundance, and to the stock market, and to Kevin Hart's discovery that, yes, the stock market works for you. And to what I said earlier, it's one game, but there's many ways to play it. Okay, so Good Friday's coming up. Good Friday's tomorrow. Yeah, Good Friday's tomorrow. The meditation with the moon is tomorrow with Reverend Melissa. But Good Friday's tomorrow. The stock markets are closed on Good Friday. I have never been aware of that before in life. But this year, because I'm investing, because I'm in the stock market, I'm very aware of the fact that the markets are closed on Friday. And it's this weird thing, even though it's only one day, the fact that they're closed makes me want to, like, get some money moves in before Good Friday. So that's what I've been doing this week. I've been trying to get some moves in before Friday. So anyway, I placed a trade on TD Ameritrade. I was buying a share of something, and it didn't go through immediately. And so I called them to find out why. And sidebar, when you have an account with TD Ameritrade and you call them, they treat you like you got millions of dollars in there. Every time I've called, they've treated me like I got millions of dollars in there. They don't treat me like, oh, you only got $5 in here, so we're not going to give you the time of day. First of all, you get a live person in this day and age. Imagine that. You get a live person, and they're very helpful, and they treat you like you got millions of dollars online. So shout out to the TD Ameritrade for that. So I called, and I was asking why this particular trade didn't go through, and I clicked the wrong button was the bottom line. But what I noticed during the conversation is that we were speaking in jargon. More important, I was speaking in jargon. Like, I was holding my own in this financial conversation with this man who works for TD Ameritrade, who works in this industry. And I felt so proud of myself, and I was aware of the progress that I've made. Because I remember the first time I called TD Ameritrade, I literally didn't know how to spell dividend. I kept misspelling dividend, and the lady kept patiently correcting me because, I'd never dealt with dividends before. And so this time we had a robust conversation where I was using all kinds of jargon to describe what it was that I needed. So that was a good experience. Now, moving on, like I said, Good Friday is tomorrow. I'm trying to get all my little money moves in. So I also called Schwab. Now, I may have mentioned this a long time ago, but I opened an account with Schwab primarily because I was recommending it to you, my viewers. I was saying that Schwab has acquired TD Ameritrade, and TD Ameritrade does not offer fractional shares, but Schwab does. And so I was saying that there will be some changes at some point because Schwab has acquired TD Ameritrade. And one of those changes is the fact that Schwab offers fractional shares. They call it stock slices. So I created a brokerage account with Schwab, and I started experimenting. And my lone experiment was I put a couple bucks down on Microsoft. This is what I call putting stocks on layaway. I do this often. This seems to be my comfort zone. I like to put a little something on a few different things. Put a little something on this, put a little something on this, put a little something on this. So I put about $50 on Microsoft in the Schwab account, and then I forgot about it. The reason I put money on Microsoft is because Microsoft and Facebook, now Meta, are the two companies that I know are actively pursuing capitalizing the metaverse. There are many companies that are doing it, but Facebook and Microsoft seem to be far along. So instead of trying to pick which one was going to win, I decided to invest in both. There we go. So I didn't really like the interface of Charles Schwab as compared to TD Ameritrade. It's a little less user-friendly. But that said, I already had $50 in there, so I was like, well, eventually I'm going to, nickel and dime and keep putting Microsoft stock on layaway, and I'll get a full share at some point. Well, every time I went in there to look at my $50, it was more. First time it was 51, then 52, then 53, then 54, then almost 55. And I was like, y'all really need to get a full share. Like, all this is happening and I only have $50 on it. What if I have a full share of Microsoft? So that was one of the moves that I wanted to make this week before Good Friday. So I went in there and I hit a snag there. And so I had to call them too, right? But eventually I got a full share of Microsoft this week. So yay, got a full share of Microsoft. And I can't wait to see what it does now that I've got a full share, because that money has been growing when I only had $50 on it quite well. Now here's the thing. My intention was to just buy a full share of Microsoft in that Schwab account and then never touch it. Like I was like, I'm done with this Schwab account. I don't really like the user interface. I'm just going to buy that one share, and that's the only thing I'm going to do there, right? But once I got the share, the guy I was on the phone with was excited. He was like, "Hey man, good job. You got a full share." So again, talking to live people, and they're excited for you, right? So I started thinking, well, maybe there's something else I could do. Is there something else I can do with Schwab? And my definition of doing the work, I've mentioned this before, my definition of doing the work is responding to the same information differently. I got this from the book, How to Do the Work, which I can't recommend enough. But my definition is responding to the same information differently. So when I first opened this brokerage account with Charles Schwab, I felt limited by the fact that you could only buy slices or fractional shares of the stocks that are available in the S&P 500. So only 500 stocks. This time, yesterday, when I realized that, when I thought about it, I was like, that's great. That's 500 pre-vetted stocks, 500 stocks that I now know have at least a $14 billion market cap each, that have already been selected by someone else. And if any of those companies fall short, that company gets removed and replaced by a new company that checks all the boxes and meets all the criteria. It's a wonderful place to shop. But how I thought about it when I first got that account was, oh, it's so limited. So here's something interesting. First, I thought, well, I should buy the other stocks in the S&P 500 individually. But then I was like, that's 500 stocks, and they're expensive. That's going to take a while. So I wanted to see what other indexes Microsoft was a part of. And it's part of the Dow. Now, we've heard the Dow, right? Oh, there's my alarm going off, so I got to wrap this story up. But we've heard of the Dow. That's what they talk about on the news every day. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is down. They talk about it every day, right? It's this huge, big thing, right? Guess what? It's not that big. It's not that big. The Dow Jones, the big, mighty, almighty Dow Jones Industrial Average, they talk about on the news every day. Guess how many stocks it has in it? It's only got 30 stocks. 30. The S&P 500 has 500. The Dow has only 30 stocks. This blew my mind. 30 stocks. That blew my mind. And so then I was like, all right, well, I have a share of Microsoft. So I already own one of the shares in the Dow. There's only 29 left. I wonder how much they are. Now, for frame of reference, a share of Amazon is about $3,000 per share right now. That's a big number for me. Like it depends upon your tolerance level, but my tolerance level has built from $20 a share up to about $500 per share. That's my comfort level now, about 500. I'm okay with that, but I had to get there. I had to start with $20 a share and work my way up to 500. All right, so how much do you think the share prices are of the 30 stocks in the Dow Jones Industrial Average? Do we have time to comment? Yeah, drop something in the chat. Drop your guess for the most expensive share price in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now, mind you, once again, it's only 30 stocks. And once again, for frame of reference, Amazon costs $3,000 per share. But I want somebody to guess what the highest dollar amount is, what the highest cost per share of those 30 stocks in the Dow Jones Industrial Average are. And what the lowest cost is. What do you think is the highest? And what do you think is the lowest? What do you think is the highest and what do you think is the lowest for the Dow? Now, this is all brand new information to me, which is why I'm so hype about it. You can tell there's a kicker coming, right? You can tell there's a kicker coming. The first kicker, though, is that there's only 30 stocks in it. That's so attainable. Only 30 stocks. So let me see if anybody's dropping any guesses in. All right, Simone's dropping in 150. So you're saying that's the highest, Simone, or the lowest? That the highest dollar amount or the lowest dollar amount? Let me know. Okay. All right, Linda's dropping in 3,500 as the highest, so a little bit more than Amazon, right? Now, that's definitely how I was thinking. I was thinking since it's only 30 stocks, they're going to be like $5,000 a share. Berkshire Hathaway, which is Warren Buffett's company, those shares are $500,000 per share. So there's no upper limit. All right. It's almost into the show. So let me go ahead and drop the information. Here we go. The most expensive stock in the Dow is only $500 per share. What? Less than Amazon. What? And the least expensive stock in the Dow, $40. 40. Are you serious? Like the range is from 40 to 500 for the big almighty Dow that they talk about on the news every day. That thing, there's only 30 stocks in it, and those stocks range from $40 to 500. And there's only one of them that's 500. The rest of them are in the $200-$300 range. There's at least 2 or 3 at the $40 range. I was blown away. Blown away. So I don't know what you're going to do, but I'm going to tell you right now, you already know what I'm going to do. I bought my next share of a Dow stock this morning. First, as soon as the market's open, 2 minutes into the market's open, I was like, let me get this stock right quick. So I already had Microsoft, right? And so the first one I bought is the least expensive one in the 30. And that's Walgreens. Walgreens, $44. Done. And I'm going to work my way through all 30. That's crazy. Less than $500 for all the stock? That's crazy. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get a whole portfolio. I'm going to build a whole portfolio on my Charles Schwab brokerage account that is all the 30 stocks. One share, at least one share of all the 30 stocks of the Dow. I got to do it. I don't know what y'all going to do, but I was flabbergasted. I feel personally offended that they've been hiding that information. Right? It's right there, but you got to seek it out. Only 30 stocks, and it starts at $40 a share. I'm getting in. I don't know what y'all going to do, but I'm getting in. All right, so that's my time. It's time for prayer time right now, 10:15, and then it's time for Sit with Rev Melissa at 10:30. I'll be producing that show, and I might pop in to say a few words. Yeah, wow, Smoke. That just blew me away. These big, intimidating terms, and if you don't do the research, you don't realize it's way more accessible than you might think. There is not a stock in there that is as expensive as Amazon. All right, I'm getting started again. Let me close out. Be a hero. Be your own financial hero. Remember that now is better than perfect in terms of investing. I suggest everybody take a look at the Dow and be shocked and amazed. And I will see you here tomorrow. Later.